Speaking of the earth and disasters, when I was in Thailand in 2004, I'd been in a monastery, and the day I came out was the day after Christmas, which was when that big tsunami hit, where a lot of people died. And it had been my intention to be in that area.
Mm.
And I don't remember, I got distracted, which is a usual thing, not to be uh, nothing unusual to get distracted, but I wasn't there when it hit, but it hit that day. And there were where it hit were a lot of people, not just in Thailand, other countries too, India too, Indonesia. But they're in that area of Thailand where I had intended to be. A lot of European tourists died. And curious thing was that few, if any, animals died because they all left.
Yeah.
They all seemed like they knew what was coming. And in the islands where there are indigenous tribes, the same thing. The I don't think any tribal people died because they somehow knew. And I think we have that in ourselves, but we have layers of blockage to have the sensitivity to know these things. It's just like, I think it's been noticed many times when natural disasters of different kinds come, that even dogs and cats will sense it, will know it. And sometimes dogs particularly have been known to get their owners out of the way. I even saw a video of that. And so, anyway, I think it's a very difficult thing for those, most of us who've grown up in this world of, where we are conditioned to think and behave in certain ways that we are not in tune with the earth, with the elements. So we don't have that sensitivity, but that it is there. And, I had a brother who told a story of in Canada. I think it was in Manitoba, maybe. The family had a sweat lodge, and there was a tornado coming their way, headed right for them. And the family took hold of the lodge and held hands facing
Mm.
that tornado, and it split in two and went around them on each
Mm.
side.
Yeah.
So I think we have powers that we don't are not aware of, and that we could touch that if we um, knew how. Um, there's another story where a boy went to the spirit world and because he died in a plague, and he asked in the spirit world if he could go back to help his people. So it was granted because of the love that he had, and he was gifted with by the spirits with the knowledge of plants, uh, the medicines that could be used to help his people, how to use them. One thing he would tell people is the efficacy of the healing power of these plants depends not just on the power of the plant, but the way that you live. That they are much more effective when you have the power, the spiritual power of your character, of uh, how you live in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That will go into the medicine. And so he would teach, that was one of his teachings. It's not just the thing, it's what's behind it and how it's used with the intention and the integrity of your spirit.
Steve, if you're ready, come on in and tell us about your journey.
Okay, I'd like to sing a little song first.
Please, always. Yeah.
Yeah, this song, it came to me, and I'd been attending sweat lodges, sing only traditional songs. So this song kept coming. So I asked the sweat lodge leader, this song I have, and I'd like to sing it. He said, yes, go ahead. So this is the song. I just call it a prayer song. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, 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 way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo. Way yo, way yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way, hey yo, way yo, way yo, way yo, way ya, hey yo.
Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful song.
So on my journey, I was born and grew up around the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee, and it was. I was told that I was Cherokee from the time that I was a little guy, and so I always took that seriously, even though I was in touch with no kind of traditions at all. And then my spiritual journey at the age of 19, I met and joined the community of Timothy Leary, who had a community in New York State, Woodstock, New York. And that had a great effect on me. We used what you call psychedelic substances as a way of spiritual exploration. And at that time, I met people who introduced me to Eastern teachings that I got very much involved with. And one was a man named Ram Dass. And I became his student, but it seemed like all through my life I had two parallel paths, the native path and the Eastern path. And I met Native Americans, including a medicine man named Rolling Thunder, and I was introduced to the Sweat Lodge ceremony. But I wound up going to India and meeting different, what were called saints and masters. And when I go to these masters, I'd often have dreams where they taught me. And one very powerful dream I had with a saint that I was spending time with was these people sank in the ocean in a boat, and I was asked if I was going to save them. So I kind of took that as a direction to my path, and later on in life, I had the opportunity to first of all get very much immersed in the Cherokee culture when I taught school in Oklahoma, and then later on invited to go to India, and I returned to India as a teacher because I was working with organizations that were working to preserve indigenous culture in India, where there are many tribes and not many people are aware that India has a huge tribal culture, and these tribes have their own culture, but it's being lost. Their traditions and their wisdom, along with their lands and their languages. So I feel like I grew a lot through interacting with these indigenous people, and they welcomed me as their own. Eventually, I was actually adopted into one of these tribes. So, and it put me much in touch with my own indigenous identity. And based on my research, I joined a tribe, and I'm a part of a Cherokee tribe. And I intend to be working with them more and more because the native population of of this country that we live in, this land that we live in, was in many millions upon the coming of the colonizers. And the estimates vary greatly, but into more than 100 million in some estimates. And that through genocide and through the extinction of so many peoples today, I did some research, and the population is 4.3 million in this country of people who identify as being native. It goes up to 7.1 million, and people are mixed blood out of a huge population that is only about 2 to 3% of the population. So when I first met some of these, introduced to yoga and meditation, Eastern spirituality, and they have great saints who are very famous. And I thought, well, why is it that there aren't famous spiritual teachers from Native America? And there are some, but I think the main reason the population was reduced so greatly. There's only a certain percent of a population of people who will become great teachers, artists, scientists, and so forth. And it's because comes down to it, the genocide of those native peoples. So I think to whatever degree I can do so is to learn and teach on and pass on these very important wisdom teachings. So in order to do that, you have to live that. So that's my work. That's my path. And so I think in terms of my purpose in life is that I've generally, through the influence of the different spiritual teachings, traditions that I've studied, that to enlighten our own minds, our own beings, to discover the truth and manifest that in whatever way we can, to help others in whatever way that we can. And for me, my own personal ambition has been to leave something, behind that will help others. As they say in our native tradition, unto 7 generations. So I'm very proud that I have been able to do that to some extent, and I won a book award for a children's book that I wrote that is coming out, and it gives me great pleasure to think that that book might have a positive influence on young lives into the future. And so I look forward to that book coming out very soon. And in my own life, some people have different directions that they may go in life, and my life has never, accumulation of material wealth has never been my goal, and it's never happened. But I think I have had a very rewarding life, and creativity has been my salvation through through many difficult times, because through art and writing and music is when I feel really alive. And so in these days, I am working with my tribe in whatever way I can to carry on traditions and trying to manifest in all creative ways the truth and love and spirit. That's all. So
Thank you.
for asking me to express this.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that book too. I'm looking forward to reading that children's book. We're all children, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So,
not just for children, but that's its form.